Today on Zielonka, the weeds are still a problem in our fields, as is the lack of nitrogen in their soil. Time to get a sprayer and deal with both problems at the same time, and maybe we can offset the cost of all this with a couple of contracts. Let's get farming. Hello and welcome along and welcome back to Zielonka. Yeah, we are going to be doing a lot of spraying today. I'm hoping very much that it isn't going to cost us too much. I've got a lot of choices in sprayers and I've been thinking hard about this. My biggest problem is there's not a lot of weight to this tractor up the front, and we'd have to add some weights to it in order to offset one of the backloading sprayers, which means I think that we're going to end up with still a very similar sort of cost if we were to buy one of these sprayers, something like the Kverneland or the Hardy at 26,500 and 34,500 respectively. We've got 18 meter width on this, and to lease this, that is going to cost us £3,340, but I would have to get a weight on the front of it, so that's going to add a little bit of extra cost. I mean, if we look at a weight that would be comparable, we're going to look at one of the heavier ones. So we're looking at £1.5 grand to buy a weight, or leasing the weight wouldn't be very much, but I don't really want to lease weight. So my thought is, why don't we go for something a little bit bigger and go for the John Deere R732i Power Spray. This is a mod that comes with the Precision Farming Pack, Precision Farming DLC, and I wanted to use it for absolutely ages. Yes, we're spending a little bit more money, but that's not a huge problem, I don't think. So we're going to go with the See and Spray as well. And number plate wise, I think we want to put the same number plate as we have on the small tractor. So that would be ArkAngil's name. So dash ANGIL, I think is the right one. So we'll put their name on, and yes, okay. So that then goes on the back, and yeah, this will then spot spray. The least cost of this, because this is up to 92,000 now, is 4,692. So it is quite expensive, quite pricey, but we do need to do this, and this is why we're going to need to do some contracts. I think we might end up doing some harvesting contracts next time as well, just to sort of make sure we have enough money for our own harvest. Now, we've got two options here for the fertilizer and the herbicides. No difference between them, so I'm going to grab a couple of the helms. In fact, yeah, we'll start with the herbicide. So let's buy that, yes. And yeah, we are already into a position where we're not going to be able to hire any workers for our harvest at all. And saving £1,000 on the lease of our sprayer would not have changed that at all. So we'll hook this up and get this loaded with the herbicide first. I think this sprayer will go quite well with this little tractor. Yeah, that's a nice setup. No issues there at all with that, and that looks absolutely perfect to me. So refill that with the herbicide. I think this will take the entire thing of herbicide as well. So this will leave us with better storage as far as space and everything. Yeah, it's only 59%. So let's head out with this. And of course, you can see either side of our wing mirrors there. We also have the crop sensors. So this sprayer is going to be really good at keeping the amounts down. I'm actually going to start with our far field here, I think. It's the one with the most weeds, and we can slowly work our way back towards the farm and unload any excess herbicide we've got, and we will have some excess herbicide. Of course, the other great thing we've got is we've got the GPS on this tractor. We put GPS on all of our tractors, which is utterly fantastic. So let's turn it on. We will set our first waypoint. So turn you on, set first waypoint. Yeah, there. And we want to make sure we got the spot spraying on. I think that is just works, to be honest. I think there's a very small row of weeds that I've missed at the very edge of the field. It's not going to make, not going to have a massive effect on anything really. Just that it's going to be a little bit annoying in the grand scheme of things. It shouldn't affect really much of any of our stuff. We can then get lined back up on here, and I am loving this sprayer. Working really, really well with our little tractor here. And is this getting the whole field? Yeah, I'm not seeing any weeds at the edge there surviving through this. So yeah, I think we got the perfect width as well. Fantastic. Yeah, as I said, couldn't be happier. This is working absolutely brilliantly. Look at that aerial shot of that. Just weeds disappearing across this field. It's just going to increase our actual environmental score so nicely with this spot and spray. Worth every penny to do it. And just a fantastic setup on here. Now I am looking at this field. This is the last field we planted, and we don't have much foliage on it at the moment. I think we're probably going to want to wait and get this field sprayed with fertilizer next month in order to have enough of enough foliage for our stuff to work properly. I folded that in there because we've got massive telegraph poles here. So I want to line this up again. And then you can see the foliage on our red beet here is much more prevalent. So we want to get this into a position where we can get this the nitrogen on this. We're expecting this to be ready in 2 months' time. So our red beet is the first stuff we're expecting to do next year. And we want to show lines because we want to move them across. You can see it's a long way off. So I've set this up so that I can move the lines across to the side of the field. And we can line ourselves back up. So once those are in position, in fact, we'll put it straight down the middle of this row here. Then we'll turn them off again. And we'll set ourselves up. We'll turn it on, and we'll get rid of the weeds in our red beet field as well. Now, a great reason for keeping or having the steering axle version of this is I can now turn here, bring this to the edge of the field. You can see it stays straight right up to the edge. We'll turn it off because we don't want to do our other field yet. And then if I keep to the edge here, we can then set it. Oh, if I go the right way. Yeah, there we go. And set it. There we are. And then it should just turn pretty much as a right angle into the crop, line us up, and we can turn it back on. And perfect. Immediately getting rid of the weeds again. We've got one more pass to do, and it looks like this is going to be pretty much the perfect width to do 3 passes on this as well. The 24-meter option was definitely the way to go on this. And for the last section of the field, we'll have a little bit of overlap. I'm not going to rely on the GPS for this. We'll just stay in this row. We're not using any extra herbicide by not reducing the width of this or anything, because it's a spot sprayer, because it's got the see and spray system. It basically is only spraying where it absolutely needs to. You can see we've used hardly any herbicide. We're down to 50% on this, which is fantastic. We're not going to use, I don't think we're going to go below about 48, 49%, especially considering how thin the weeds are on our last field. And with these 2 telegraph poles right at the edge of the field, again, we want to be doing the whole unfolding and setting up here and then spraying up the field and then down. That way we should miss these telegraph poles, I think. Unfold that. See if it makes the actual width of the field, which I think it will. Oh yeah, we've got a fairly big overlap there. I know in real life you wouldn't sort of drive across the rows like this, because that would be destroying stuff, very nicely destroying stuff. But we need to maneuver it like that for now. There we are. And then because we're on a new row, we need to reset our starting position, head forwards, turn this on, and yeah, this is not going to spray very many along here. Let's set our route, and away we go. And the last field of weeds we need to sort will soon be sorted. And see again that this field has not grown much. The parsnips we've got in here are still very young and very low. So I think today we are just going to spray the red beet. That way we know that we are doing well with foliage on that. We can then spray these remaining 2 fields next time. Loading fertilizer onto the tops of the herbicide is not something I really want to do anyway. We do have a small issue here in that we're going to have to turn a little bit early. And even then, we're not going to avoid it. So turn it off. We'll have to fold in these here. Avoid this pole. And then fold things out again once we got past it. Yeah, sometimes there is a little bit of fiddliness around that. And then once we're back in position, we can head straight back up the field. Turn it on. And away we go again. And that will be a nice weed-free farm. And there we are at the end. Yeah, that will do. There's no weeds up at this point, so we're all good. Yeah, nothing we've missed. I'm thinking about it, actually. We're spot spraying, so we're only spraying those points where there are actual weeds. As a result, I think we should be all right to put fertilizer on here today. And we do have foliage. We do have plants, so it can sense how much they need. So we'll fold that in. We'll go and unload this herbicide down at the farm because it's only 10:15. So we can very quickly go around and do all this again. And as we've already got the GPS set up for that field there, what I'm thinking is we'll unload this, load up the fertilizer we still have down at the shop. Unload this here. Like that. We can immediately head down the shop, grab the fertilizer, and do these fields as well. And we will turn on the sensors. That way, they should have an effect, and we should maximize our nitrogen for these plants. Back to the same place again, and set our GPS so that we're into place. Unfold, and now we're dealing with the nitrogen. We want to turn on the crop sensors, so we'll get those turned on. Those should be a little bit more accurate now. And yeah, let's see how quickly this 2,000 liters of fertilizer gets used up. That is fairly fast. We're only half full We don't have enough money to buy more without borrowing money, and I'm quite pleased that I've managed to avoid that so far. Look at that. That is 190 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare that we are putting on this field. That is a massive amount. I'm coming up to the end of the parsnips, and yeah, that is, I think, a total of 400, more than 450 liters that we've ended up using on that. And I'm trying not to overlap too much to the next field. There we go. Yeah, 456 liters we used on that. So we should be fine, actually. Our 3 fields, I think we're going to be okay. If we're only using about a third of what we had on that first field, then we're going to be absolutely fine. Right, let's line this up then and do the red beet. Be interesting to see how the red beet works with this and whether I'm far enough over. Yes, easily far enough over. Nice little bit of an overlap on this field. That is not the end of the world. That's actually a good thing because we know we have some overlap on this anyway. And bring that to there. Set our first waypoint. Turn it on. And away we go. And yeah, this is going to use a similar kind of amount. We're doing a lot lower fertilizing on the silty clay here. It requires a lot lower level of nitrogen, which can be quite useful to us in that we're not going to use quite as much on this field. In fact, it's using about 40 to 50 kilograms of nitrogen less. And this last row is again going to be slightly lower in the amount it uses because we've got less width. Also, we've got an area here. Don't quite know what happened, but a little bit got missed and we got a bare patch in the field. Happens in real life as well. You sometimes get bare patches, but that looks like that didn't actually get seeded, unfortunately, which is not good. We really want to be maximizing how much of our crop is in the field as we can. Into the final field, and similarly we're putting 145 kilograms per hectare into this rather than the 190. It'll be different down the far end. We've got loam at the far end, and that will take a lot more, but we'll also get a higher yield off the far end of this field than we will off field 52. So it kind of evens out. We're spending more money to get a much higher yield. And that is pretty much perfect. So good with the width of this. It reaches right across this field. I think it's got a little bit short on the side, but the reach beyond the edge actually means that it's able to fully do the field, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner with that map. So I'm very pleased with this. This sprayer has been exactly what we needed on here. Works really well with this tractor, and we didn't have to fiddle about with any weights or anything on the front. Yeah, I'm happy to have spent the extra 1,000 to get it, and to be honest, it's not going to make that big a difference to us in the long run. We're looking at being able to buy this sprayer after this year's harvest, so that will be good, and we can go from there. Still a way off buying our harvester though, and we're all done for this field. Right, let's turn it off, fold it up. We will deactivate GPS, and yeah, we've got 665 liters left. Can we claw back some of our cost with a fertilizing contract then. We've got field 80 and field 8. Field 80 is the bigger one, and that is up the top here. Looks like that actually is a field of cotton. So judging that by the size of our other fields here, we should have the fertilizer to do that. Field 8 is up here. So field 8 is there. And yeah, that again is a similar size. So I think we've got enough to do one of them. And field 80 is going to pay us more. So let's pop down here. If we have more than half left, or even if we have half left, judging by this, that will be the best way to go. So accept that contract. And we'll go and see if we can earn a little bit of money and get things going again. Then, as we go into the afternoon, it might be time to have a look at a harvesting contract and see if we can earn a bit of extra cash that way too. So field 80 is this field just here next to us. Is that cotton? I think that might be cotton. It's certainly not cotton at a stage where it's anywhere near harvesting. We should have plenty of space to turn around on here. Lots of really big fields that can be created up here. I was watching with interest well, DJ's probably got several of them out by now. But I'm recording this on Wednesday, and DJ has a new series out, which is basically turning all of this map into huge fields and then fertilizing and planting and harvesting them. And yeah, looks to be awesome. So I'd go check that out. I mean, if you're not watching DJ Goham stuff already, or you don't know who he is, then yeah, I can't help you there. But yeah, DJ's got a crazy series, which I was talking about only in Thursday's video, which I actually recorded yesterday, which makes everything confusing. But yeah, he's got a really good series about that. And I was talking, as I said, talking exactly about that, and the difference, how different this map and how versatile this map is. So yeah, go check that out, because I think that will be an interesting experiment to show exactly what I was talking about last video. This is gonna be a very quick contract. We're already on our second row, nearly halfway through the field, and yeah, we must be more than halfway through the contract at this point. We have gone through 200 liters of fertilizer though, interestingly. So that's quite a big amount to be getting through. If we go through that much, I don't think we're going to have enough to do the second contract, unfortunately. So we'll have to go and have a look at something else. And with a few harvesting contracts already popping up, those are going to be our best bets to make a decent amount of cash today. Contract is all done. I am just going to actually complete the spraying for the farmer on this field. I know that wastes a little bit, but only fair. We're here, and it's not a huge field. So that is 290 liters left. So what is the size of this? 1.30 versus 0.90. I think we're going to run out of fertilizer before we do it. It's 6,000. I'm going to risk it. I think we might be able to get that contract done with what we've got in here. I think it'll be close, but I think it's doable. On my way over to field 8, and I think field 25 here, this is one of the contracts that's kicking about. So it's not a huge harvesting contract that's about. We might be able to knock one of those out in this afternoon. If not, I think, you know what, I think today is going to be a lot about trying to get this spraying done, and maybe having a slightly shorter day for that. Getting ourselves to a level where we can actually make enough to get us through to the next day. We don't need a hired worker to do regular harvesting contracts. What we do need a hired worker for, though, is to do our own contract. So we're going to be looking to make a load of money next game day to make sure that we can have the harvester, and that we have the harvester long enough to get through our own harvest. Let's unfold this. It's quite an expensive thing, actually, keeping that harvester about, but it makes sense simply because what we want is to have the harvester to eventually buy it. And if we have a look at this harvester, the purchase price of it at the moment is 551,000. The initial purchase price of it is 637. So we've almost paid off, because we're on lease to buy. We've almost paid off 100,000 on it, which is quite cool. Oh, I need to actually accept the contract. That would be a really good start. Let's turn this on. I am going to set my first waypoint. That should be behind me somewhere now. No. There we go. That is behind me somewhere. And away we go. And here's to hoping the fertilizer holds out. Again, the reach of this sprayer is helping us a lot here. We are definitely going to have enough to get to the far end of this field. Whether that is going to be enough to do it. We're 83% complete. So this is really hopeful here. Can this make this to the end of this field? Please let this make this to the end of this field. By 58, 56, 52. Well, that has not completed it. But I do have to fold up the sprayer to make it to the remainder of this field. Oh, just 50 liters left in this sprayer, but not a huge amount of field to go. We've got just this little section along the side. So turn the sprayer on, and it's only spraying a little bit at the moment. What I love about precision spraying is that you don't need to turn sections off. And I think that's done it. I think we have. Yep, there we go. We are at 100% done. And down to the last 34 liters. We definitely can't do any more spraying contracts today. But that has completed both those contracts. So field 8 complete. Let's collect that one. And field 80 complete. Let's collect that one. That means we've used up all our fertilizer, which is fantastic. And we got up to 6,346 on our income, which is brilliant. That should see us through to the next day. We, of course, do have this sprayer now as a lease to buy, so that is gonna hit our money as well. Interestingly, there are 2 baling contracts, and they're quite an odd pair. So we've got field 12 baling. Both of them are hay contracts, so we could take both of them. This one here has the double windrower, which would be really nice to use. And a wider tedder with only 116. This one has no tedder at all attached to it. In fact, no. So this is a really weird contract. I think 64. So 64 is for hay bales, but doesn't give you hay baling equipment. It gives you silage making equipment, which is very, very odd. There's a bit of an oddity there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to borrow items for this contract. And we are also going to accept the contract for that one. And I think using this tractor, we can set up a little bit of a follow me and get us enough money to get us through to our own harvest. That way, whatever we end up doing next time as a possible harvest for regular crops, we will be able to make a whole load of money on. Right, let's head over to the shop. Let's get a bit of a convoy going. If we have a mower in front and a tedder behind, I think we could then do a the windrower and that, and just get through both of these fields really quickly. So I'm going to put the tedder on this tractor, and that can follow behind the Voltra. Will drive for the first bit. This could work really, really well. This is the last row that we need to cut for here. We just need a little bit of tidying up at the top end. One thing I haven't pointed out on this map so far, I don't think I'm even pointed out in my initial first look of it, is how seamlessly the edge of the map just merges in with everything else. We've got the edge of the map ahead of us there, and you wouldn't know. Look at that. Hired workers work for tedding hay. That's fantastic. And I'm a little bit late to the party on that, but that is so cool. So let's unfold this. And once this is unfolded, we can turn it on. I'm going to try and make this about as fluid as I can. Put the follow on. So we've got a hired worker in there. Yep. And we can just go up and down this field and create the bales. Because what I could do now is bring these bale loaders down to here and start collecting up some of the very large number of bales that we've got. Like last time, all these bales are headed to the farmer's market, and the real telltale here will be which contractor these go towards completing. Field 64, and that's just under 20% from 2 bales. That actually is really, really good. This lot should complete field 64. Yep, there we go. And in fact, wow, has transported 14% for field 12 as well. Field 64 is clear, and we've got a single bale from that field that was left over on the front here. Didn't quite finish it with the last 4 from there. So we'll bring this in. We'll unfold all of these. This finishes field 12 as well. And we got 1,412 from what I think was the other 3 bales sold. So we're going to make a nice little bit extra. I think we still have a couple of trips to do off that field. But all in all, we're in a good place. I am very happy. We've got enough money to make it through the night to the next day. I'm going to go and clear the remaining bales off this field, get us a little bit more money in. But for now, I think this is probably a pretty good place to end it. So all that remains is for me to say
thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Your support is invaluable in making these videos and helping the channel to grow. For more from Virtual Farmer, check out the links below, follow on Twitch to watch live, and for more videos, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you next time. Goodbye.